I'm going to show you how I took a level from this to this. So first off, I generally have an idea of a level in my mind. So what I'll do is I'll come in and I'll just start painting the basic shapes. Next, I'll just give it a little test to make sure that the level is going to be achievable. Once I have that done, I will typically go around and add a few beautifiers. Now, these are just the kind of details around the ground and stuff that the player is going to use. So we'll use a tile set and we'll just add all the details in to the shapes that we've already painted. I'll have a quick test, and as you can see, it's starting to look okay. So I'll go ahead and I'll get all of those basic shapes finished. I'll now start adding bits of details to the level. So here I'm adding some spikes and some lava. Just basically, we're going to go through and going to add all the traps to the levels. Next up, we're going to add a vertical saw blade. Now I do this by recording a few details. So I put the saw blade into the scene and I kind of track the width and the height of where I want the scaling of the saw blade to go. So this is typically one that's just going to traverse up and down. Next, I've added a pendulum. You can see here, although it's on top of the ground, it will get moved behind afterwards, but I just want to test that everything looks okay. Next up, I'm going to go through and I'm going to add some logs. This is for the player to dive and smash through. Now, the logs are made up of tiny little segments. Each have their own animation, and you can change the way they look by each segment. Then I'll just give it a quick test and make sure it behaves as I expect. You'll see here the pendulum actually pokes up underneath. So I just want to test kind of the boundaries, where you'd have to be to get here, where you wouldn't. Next up, I go through and I add a few more block details and just flesh the level out a little bit more. We add a couple more saw blades to make it a little bit more tricky. And of course, we test to make sure everything behaves as I would expect. The level is now starting to come together. Once you've got the basics of the levels down, I will start to add a few more kind of depth details, I'd call them. So these, we're going to add a few more vines, which are just going to hang down from the top of the screen. We're going to add a couple on some of the ground elements. I'm going to put a few creepers about, just to add a little bit more detail. And then you see I'll have another little test to make sure I'm happy with everything. After that, I add some foreground depth. So this is generally some sort of bushes that will sort of just creep into the scene, overlap a few elements, but it just gives a little bit more depth to the scene. And then I'll add some background elements in the shape of trees here. So as these are in the background, they will have a slight blur to them as well. And this is the end result. Fleshed out level, all made from a bunch of blocks of squares at the start that we painted, squares and rectangles. And the end result is a pretty interesting level.